Pleased to have here in studio the former undisputed heavyweight boxing champion of the world and one of the subjects of the documentary that's in theaters, on demand, and on iTunes today called Champs, Mike Tyson. Good to see you.
It's always nice to see you.
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Awesome. It's a wonderful life this far.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And Champs, this film, why do a film talking about boxing, your life?
Well, it's not necessarily about boxing.
Okay.
It's about it's about life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's pretty much fighting. Boxing pretty much morphs life. You start at the bottom. You're poverty-stricken. You're educated, non-educated actually, and you're taught a gift, and you become the best person in the world, and you make a lot of money. And normally in the history of entertainment, period, regardless, black, white, there's always the product that's very young, and you have the managers that's always a sleazy, skullduggery type individual that's always manipulating and taking advantage and selling your flesh. It happens since the beginning of time. And we're talking about, we live in a civilized society. How can we let people live like this? How can we let the most elaborate, the most successful financial sports institution not be federally sanctioned? How does that work?
That's a great question.
How does that work in a supposedly civilized society?
Well, the question is why, because now, obviously, you know, UFC, MMA has captured the fancy of the country right now in a manner in which when you were fighting, and people before you, that heavyweight boxing was. So the question is why has that happened to the sport in your estimation?
Well, that happens because I'm not fighting.
Nicely put.
But
yes.
The reality of it is that it really hasn't, it captivated only the entertainment of the people, but the fighter is still the richest athlete on the planet. Floyd Mayweather's going to get more money than perhaps all the athletes' purses combined on this planet.
Sure.
And that in itself tells you that this is a business.
It's still
really
there, but the
dark den of iniquity. You know, something has to be done. And as I was saying before, a business like this, when most of the participants are just, one thing that they all have in common, all the fighters living now, the majority, even probably 100 years ago, what they all have in common, poverty-stricken.
Where they come from is what you mean.
Yes, no doubt. Don't care where they are. Philippines, Manny Pacquiao was just, he was the lowest level of the living structure in Philippines. Floyd Mayweather, just all the fighters, just name them. And this is what happened. I remember reading something that Mark Twain had quoted maybe 100 years ago. And it said that, and this is where fighters were slaves, pretty much at that time. And he said, this is the only participant in art that a slave could fight another slave, and if he's successful in the numerous occasions, he could rub shoulders with royalty. No other sport can do that. It's just it's unheard of. You know, you got these guys that are slaves or just former slaves that won their freedom from fighting, and next thing you know, they're invited to a castle. They're meeting royal people in that particular country, and he doesn't even know how to spell his name.
Well, who's the royalty you met? Who have you met through boxing?
I met quite a few people.
From kings and queens and.
I met presidents. Yeah.
Which presidents have you met?
I met Italian president, the French president. Who else we going to?
How about our president? Have you ever met a president of the United States?
Well, I'm not that popular here that I'm in those other countries. You know.
Okay. So you're. The interesting thing about all this, though, by the way, I don't need to say who it is normally, but we are on the radio too. It's the familiar voice of Mike Tyson here on the Rich Eisen Show. Is that if you could go back and tell the Don King managed Mike Tyson something, what would you tell that Mike Tyson?
Man, it wouldn't be nothing I could tell him. He might attack me. It wasn't, and it wasn't meant to, Rich. You know, I had to take my lumps and experience life on life terms at that particular time in order to be the person that I am now. And if somebody was to intervene and tell me this, what would I have done? You know,
You wouldn't have listened to the current Mike
no,
Tyson?
absolutely not. And maybe no, I didn't listen to nobody. I didn't listen to myself.
Well, what were you telling yourself, I guess, back then?
I can do what I want.
And that was through your experiences and how people were treating you, or how you...
I always did what I wanted. I always had to take care of myself, because as you see, as my life went, no one truly took care of me. You know, no one fulfilled their fiduciary duties by any means.
You mean after Cus D'Amato's passing? Is
Pretty
what you're
much,
saying?
yes.
So Cus is pretty much, and his wife were the only ones who...
No, that wasn't his wife. That was his pretty much common law wife.
Okay, his common law wife, who took care of you.
Yes.
Right. I'm here with Mike Tyson here on the Rich Eisen Show. So you mentioned Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao.
Yes.
Do you have any thoughts on this upcoming fight, Mike? Who you think is going to take this one? That everyone's been waiting for this for some time. What do you think of the upcoming Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, Mike?
You know, from my experience in fighting, from being a fighter and my experience in fighting.
Yeah.
I've seen fighters that's on paper and on television. They look better than the fighter that they fight. There's no way on paper he looks better. But sometimes the guy that doesn't look that good, he wins. Mm-hmm. You know, and those things happen in fighting. That's why we watch fights. Pacquiao looks better than Mayweather. You know, he overcame adversity. He's been knocked cold, came back and had sensational fights with opponents that supersede any opponent that Mayweather's fought. And yes, on record, it looks like Pacquiao has a really great chance. So if Floyd wins this fight, mm-hmm. everybody has to, you know, hail him to be the king. You know, he can make this fight ugly. He's tall. He can hold him and just make a bad stink fight. And I hope he wouldn't do that. But when you think about the guys that beat Pacquiao, and this is just from a fighting perspective. Mm-hmm. I don't know, most of your guys are probably fans, but you're pretty much probably neophytes in the art of fighting. He's overcame adversity, being knocked out cold, came back, great fight, fighting great fighters, constantly fighting. He hasn't taken much time off, even after the devastating knockout that he had with Marquez. And not only that, anyone that gave Pacquiao any kind of trouble, when I watched this fight, and I even watched a few of his early fights, the only time he had difficult fights, the other opponent threw 100 punches a round. Floyd doesn't throw nowhere near 100 punches a round. And from watching his fights with guys that ponderous and methodical, he tears them apart. If they get on the rope, he's all over the place. You have to look at the aspect that Pacquiao's speed is going to be a great asset. He's had dynamite in both hands. He's smart. He's elusive. Not only fast, but he's elusive. He's hard to hit.
It sounds like you like Manny Pacquiao in this fight, just by listening to what you're saying.
But Floyd's never been beaten. But I just know that if he fights this fight, he has to come in this fight better than he's ever been before. And he's, what, 33, 35 now?
Sure.
38, I don't know what, but, and not that it can't be done, but it's not good. I don't think, this can't be an easy fight. He's going to get hit. He hasn't been hit in his last fight. And last time he did get hit in his last fight, in the end of the first round, he did a little dance, you know, mm-hmm. He did a little jig. And this guy's going to throw a lot of punches. He doesn't stop throwing punches. How is he going to overcome this? Who do you ever fight like this?
So, you like Pacquiao. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Don't.
How many rounds could you give me right now, Mike Tyson? Not me personally, but if you could get in the ring right now, lace him up, put the gloves on. How many rounds could you go?
I don't have to do that no more.
But if you had to, how many rounds do you think you could go?
I don't know. Maybe 2 seconds.
That's all you need. That's all you used to need to knock somebody out back in the day.
I can do this stuff if I want to.
I know that.
I used to never want to do it. It brings back dark thoughts.
Okay, so then let's not do that. Let's take a break. Let's take a break here with Mike Tyson. We're talking Champs with the Champ. It's in theaters on demand and on iTunes today.
It's just a dynamic. Man, the movie's just dynamic, the documentary. Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely talk more about it. We're going to take a 60-second break and be back with more with Mike Tyson right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Show, chatting with Mike Tyson here in studio. Again, Champs in theaters on demand and on iTunes today, March 13th. It's Mike here, Evander Holyfield, Bernard Hopkins, opening up about their lives and careers in this new documentary. What's your relationship with Holyfield like? Do you have any relationship with him?
Yeah, we do commercials together. What else we do together? We go on talk shows and talk about me biting his ear and stuff. There's a whole bunch of splendid little specials that we participate in.
Yeah. So would you term yourself friends? You're friends
very
with him?
friendly. Yes.
Did you ever think?
I did an interview with his daughter.
Okay.
For a school project. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you would be friends with him at any point in your life?
Hey, I've learned something in my years of living. Mm-hmm. I learned that everybody that you fight is not your enemy, and everybody that helps you is not your friend. So you never know what's going to happen in life.
Yeah, you never do. And
it's
now
that
you're
box of chocolate stuff.
Yeah, that was you like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, I like Forrest Gump. Wasn't he cool? You never stopped around. I like Forrest Gump.
Of course, I liked everything about Forrest Gump. He had moxie, that Forrest Gump.
I know what that movie reminded me of.
What?
The movie that Peter Sellers played in many years ago.
Being There? Yeah,
it reminded me of that a little bit.
What'd you like about Being There?
That he was an idiot, but he was brilliant. And he was very simple, and it went right to the point.
What's your favorite movie, if you have to choose?
Man, I have a couple of them now. What was that movie that Omar Sharif and Susan Sarandon played a long time ago? The Other Side of Midnight.
Okay.
That was a good one, too. Ben Hur's a good one, too.
What?
And of course, I like the Shaw Brothers. Those are good ones, too, the karate movies.
Sure. I mean, what do you think is the best boxing movie you've ever seen?
Whoa.
What's like the closest?
Raging Bull. But I like Gentleman Jim with Errol Flynn, too. They had some good moments. See, that's what boxing, the life of a boxer is a roller coaster. Sometimes a boxer could be a dull boxer, but he did something in one time that you'll never forget. And that's what life is like. Somebody could live his life as a bum and just average guy, that dude not working on it, and then boom, he does something that he'll remember forever. Else sometimes he can just have a great life all his life, and then his fall will be something that's just so monumental that you'll never forget it.
But Raging Bull does remind you it is as real as it comes.
Yeah, because the reality is that most boxers are insane. You know what I mean? Listen, we could deal with social, we could talk, people, we could do these interviews, we could laugh and hang out, but we're insane because we're left with us. Because at a moment, and at a time, when this is not going on, I'm looking at you and I'm looking at the cameras and we're talking.
Sure.
I'm gonna be alone with my thoughts, and that's my greatest fear.
Is to be left alone with your thoughts.
Yeah, your thoughts, your secrets, only you know.
I'm here with Mike Tyson here on the Rich Eisen Show. You ever meet Ali?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Listen, I was 1978 or 77. I'm locked up in Spofford Juvenile Detention Center. And all of a sudden, we come down, we watch the movie The Greatest. And then next thing, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, Ali walks in.
Into your detention center?
Yes.
What was that like?
Pandemonium. And I was only 11. Maybe I didn't really understand. I heard my mother call him Clay around the house.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't know who he was. And as time going, I found out who he was from the show, of course. And that was good inspiration. After that, I got transferred to another place where it was a gentleman, Bobby Stewart, who was a former fighter who started teaching me how to fight. And then he introduced me to the legendary trainer Customato. And then I saw Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard fight. And I wasn't sure whether I was going to be a fighter. I was just happy to get out of that place.
Sure.
But when I saw them fight, I knew, ooh, that's what I want to do in my life.
That's when you saw Duran and Sugar Ray fight. That's when you said, that's what I want to do. And then how did you get involved with the Junior Olympics where you had an 8-second knockout? When did that happen? How did that come up?
I had a great teacher.
Who was that?
Customato, the best, yeah, the best.
Mm-hmm. And then how do you have to work? I know you say that it's bad thoughts, certainly when you talk about fighting, but how do you get into the mindset to go ahead and knock somebody like Marvis Frazier out in 30 seconds?
Well,
Robert Collet in 37 seconds.
It doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you're a kid, and you have to be that person before you become that person.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? I think I know what you mean, but I'd love to...
It's a lifestyle. You have to live that lifestyle at a young age. I just lived that lifestyle. Never had girlfriends. I trained all day. I watched fight films all day. I read fight magazines all day. Every conversation I had with somebody was about fighters, who you think would have won this and that. Just like guys that love basketball, baseball. Who you think would have won? Who you think's the best? Kareem, what's the other guy? Oscar Robertson?
Sure.
Who you think's the best? And that's all I was. You think he could be him? You thought he'd be him? Match the guys with the past, with the guys with the presents and this and that, and that's all I thought about.
Did you ever think of doing another sport? Playing another sport?
No.
Hoops, football,
No,
nothing?
this is all I ever wanted to do. Be
First
heavyweight
fight.
champ of the world.
And you became that.
Yes.
Do you ever wish that you weren't?
No.
Okay.
No. Only if I had a life like this when I began, I would never succeed. In order to reach the pinnacle of success in this business, you have to start with below zero. Anything higher than that, you don't have a chance.
I'm here with Mike Tyson on the Rich Eisen Show. In a few minutes I have left with you, I got to hit you on various other topics too. Hangover movies.
Awesome stuff, right?
Did you ever think you'd be with a tiger and all that stuff in Hangover movies, Mike?
I thought the movie was going to be a bomb. I thought it was going to give me a paycheck to party with some girls and have fun and do drugs. And I had, oh man, this is really where I was at a restaurant in Los Angeles. And one of the restaurants must have been on Sunset, where, you know, it's like the European style, you're outside and you got, you know, the canopy over there and people could see the cars going by.
Oh, yeah.
And the sightseeing, it was two sightseeing buses that were full. And the movie wasn't out yet, though. But they ran, it must have played in the theater, coming attractions, and I hit the guy. And they all stopped, they ran out, and they went crazy over it. And my friend Zip, who's passed away now, he said, "Whoa, Mike, we got something here."
Yeah.
We got something here. Yeah, because that's, you have to look at it, that just put me right in the pinnacle, boom, right back in public face. People who never saw me fight before, he just hit them in the face and he just landed me here with you. It's really much, it basically all comes from Todd Phillip thinking this would be a great idea to put me in a movie.
And then you did a one-man play on
but
Broadway.
Not only that, after I was in the first one and I got addicted to all the fanfare from #1, I called Todd a bunch of times, threatening him, "You better put me in this movie. I'm in the movie, man. Yo, Todd, man, don't play me, man. Put me in this movie, man." It was just, I got addicted to it like drugs. Like,
And then you were back in then the second one, the second Hangover. I got to ask you also about Ronda Rousey and how she's knocking people out in 15 seconds. I mean, 14 seconds. I don't want to short her a second. What do you think of her?
Well, right before I heard that, I believe it was this morning when I got off the plane, I said, "Mike, what do you think?" I missed the face. Mike, what do you think about Ronda Rousey, 14 seconds? Well, what you say?
You're right.
14 seconds. Me and some other gentlemen were saying, this guy might beat her. He might give her a fight. I said, I never saw the girl fight, but some other guys was explaining that she's going to give, she might beat Ronda. Then I hear 14 seconds. I don't know what we're going to do with her. We're going to get some intergalactic female to fight her?
There's no one else on the planet.
That's beautiful. Because listen, this was interesting. I'm at one of the fights, and she comes in with another young lady with black hair. It's very stunning, beautiful young lady, and they're both, and they sat next to me, and the other lady, I think she was a fight enthusiast too, because she talked about how she went to Catskill, my old gym, and she saw the posters on the film, and she's beautiful. But I'm looking at her, she's looking at me in the eyes, and I could see that really, I could see, no way, you better not even, it's never even entered my mind to say, "Hey, babe, can I get your number?" Because that wasn't, and it didn't look right. It looked like if you say that, she's gonna just kill you right here.
Super
And I said, "Well, thank you very much, man. Well, thank you, man. Well, thank you very much, man. Thank you very much." That never even really went through your mind to ask her to hit on this girl, because she was beautiful, but she just looked like she didn't even take a little bit of crap.
No, you got to be careful.
A little bit.
I know. Hey, listen, Mike, I appreciate you coming in here and chatting about this.
I appreciate you coming here, too, because this is a quick interview, and I'm really famished and stuff.
Okay, yeah, well, we can get you something to eat.
You didn't tell me that.
No, I mean, we could do that. I mean, whatever you need. We've got a cafeteria across the way here.
Really?
Yeah. If you stepped in it, that would be, that would be pandemonium, too. It would be like you were in Hangover again.
You've been here long. You've been doing this a long time.
I've been doing it. I've been doing this. Yeah. I mean, I can remember covering your career on SportsCenter. Me and Stuart Scott used to talk about your stuff all the time.
Stuart, God bless his soul. But
yeah, I know.
God, you've been here a long time, man.
Yeah, well, listen.
Still looking good, though, man. Still healthy. Well, you appear to be healthy.
I am, though, and I appreciate you saying that. Mike, thanks for coming in here. You're welcome back anytime you want.
You know what I wanted to say is just,
Yeah, what?
It's just funny, like, when I see you for long, and it must be the same way with you, too. It's just like a different world now. When you've been doing this so long, you see so many new faces and new people taking the positions of people, you know, like Nick Charles and all. You see the positions being taken, and you're almost like one of the last guys standing.
I feel like
from
it.
That era, from the 80s and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, it's the last hair standing.
Well, you have some cool hair, though.
Thank you, though. I will take that.
Because when I came and said, that doesn't even look like Rich. I never even look like excuse me.
It's okay. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Good thick hair. It was like, what's the president of Disney guy name again?
The president?
Back in the day. The CEO
Steve
guy.
Bornstein?
Nah, that's back in the 80s. What's his name?
Bodenheimer?
No, in the 80s.
Reggie?
Oh, Eisner. Michael Eisner.
He had the Eisner look, right? He had the Eisner look when he had the hair, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of differences between Eisen and Eisner. More than the end, there's a few commas and some zeros, too.
Listen.
Yeah.
We're talking about appearances.
Yeah, okay. Got it. Champs in theaters on demand and on iTunes today. Part of that is Mike Tyson telling his story. Good to see you. Good to see you, champ.
Much,
you bet. Iron Mike Tyson right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Back
Thank you, guys.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.